Welcome to the Darkstream, Voxday, voxday.blogspot.com, and unauthorized.tv. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And tonight we're going to talk about why you are banned. Not you, specifically you. Obviously, if you are here and you are chatting and so forth, you are not banned. But perhaps it might be useful to understand a little bit more about why people like myself, Owen, and other people are prone to banning people very, very quickly, and why we don't wait before we act. For example, Jose Lopez is already banned for life. Why? Because he's just taking shots. The gamma pattern of behavior is recognizable. We've been through it many, many times. We have no need or desire to go through it again, right? I mean, there's absolutely no benefit whatsoever to giving these people the benefit of the doubt. None whatsoever. I've been blogging since 2003. So I've been doing it for 16 years. Anthony, if you mention your account one more time, you're going to be banned. We're going to get to this soon. Okay? It is important to understand that you have to fix things yourself. And sitting here annoying everybody about the problems that you're having, number one, isn't going to fix them. It's just going to get your other account banned. In fact, if you're having problems with trying to figure out with why you're banned or not, and then you behave in an incredibly annoying manner, there's your answer right there. And let me explain to you, this is perfect timing. I thank you, Anthony, because this actually relates directly to the topic at hand. So I'm not going to name any names here because there's no point. It's the example that matters, not the specific individual, right? So last night I am doing the Darkstream, just like we often do, and there's a discussion going, and suddenly a woman starts complaining about the fact that she has been banned from Owen's stream. It's okay, Anthony, it's cool, just learn. And the thing is that I am not the Owen police. I am not the Mike Cernovich police. I'm not the Milo police. I just said we're not naming names. For crying out loud. This is not that difficult, okay? This is something that I've told people before. If I'm talking about something, do not ask me, oh, is this correct? Is this what you mean? Shut up. If I want to talk about it specifically, I will say it. If I haven't named it specifically, I don't want it said. I don't want anybody being smart boy, okay? I despise smart boys. Just to be clear on that. When you want to do the whole prove you're a smart boy thing, remember, highly intelligent people despise smart boys. We all do. You know why? Because we have no need to prove it. We have no need to demonstrate it. So when we see people trying to demonstrate it, I mean, to us, that's a very clear signal that you're dealing with somebody who's not very smart, right? No matter what your mommy said. Even if you were the best in your class of 30. Whatever. So it's not my problem. It's not my business. It has literally nothing to do with me. And I said as much. I said, this is not Owen's channel. I'm not the person who controls Owen's channel. I didn't take the warning that was implicit chances and stuff, is because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't see. For example, all you guys saw was this woman making some out-of-place comments, me calling the person out, and then banning them. So that's all you saw, right? Well, aren't we going to have fun now? So the next thing I see is an email to both me and Owen. It says, guys, I've been a supporter of both of you for quite some time. I asked to bear on a stream of yours tonight, Theodore, which, by the way, that's a bannable offense right there. And I was trying to find out if Owen took a day for work and family or if he actually had a stream. I looked for a stream to listen to and didn't see one this afternoon when I got home from work. I had no idea that disagreeing with Owen on a point would turn into me being blocked, so I wanted to see what happened. I thought the Bears, of which I was one, was a platform of three freethinkers, friends, and Christians, not sycophants. I was called a name by a bear on the live stream, and someone said I wanted to complain to the manager simply for trying to find out what went on earlier in the day. This is narcissistic cult of personality behavior, and this is not what I thought the Bears were about. I was banned after saying a woman is a woman, which is the truth. This behavior makes no sense. I don't understand being dismissed because I brought up cogent points and sent pictures as evidence in my argument to you, Owen. You said 2 days in a row that Laura Loomer is a tranny. She is a vain, Botox, collagen-riddled woman. So what? Why can't I point out that reality out the truth without being banned? The Bears shouldn't be made to believe something that isn't so. I am not a fan of hers either, by the way. Owen, I spent a sum of money to send something very special to you and the Bears just before you went on tour. I saw it and had all of us in mind as Bears when I made the purchase. I don't care if you open it, but send it back if you don't want it. I spent my hard-earned funds senselessly, as it turned out, and I am very disappointed in your attitude. The picture and the frame inside cost me good money, too. It's probably a picture of her, is my guess. Just send it back to the address and kindly let me know when you are releasing it. I had no idea that you could be so dismissive to someone who has openly supported you and your family after what happened to you. I was not trying to offend you simply by pointing something out which I disagree with and know you are wrong about. Just let me know when you release the picture back into the mail system so I know when to expect it. If I thought I needed to make amends, I would. I did nothing wrong. She sent that to me. I have literally nothing to do with this. Nothing whatsoever. So I responded. First, you sent me this email when your issue is with someone else. Second, you tried to interrupt my stream multiple times to complain about someone else and talk about your problems with him. And third, you falsely claim to have done nothing wrong. You absolutely did a number of things wrong, and if you cannot see that, then you have a problem. You know, that's it. And so, of course, that ended the matter, right? Of course not. Of course not. Vox, I was trying to talk to one bear in your stream to see if Owen had his stream that day. I was not trying to disrupt anything or get swarmed by sycophants and flying monkeys, which is exactly what happened. I am sincerely sorry your stream got disrupted. I meant zero disrespect to your stream or to anyone. She just wanted to be able to, interrupt it and talk about what she wanted to talk about and try to quiz me as to why Owen was treating her in a way that she didn't like. The only reason why I sent you the below email is because you addressed me by name in your stream, which I listened to often and told me to shut up. That is not only anti-Christian behavior. Seriously, telling her to shut up is anti-Christian behavior. Can you imagine what she's going to do when she discovers that Paul recommends that women be told to shut up in the church? Is aggressive and belittling to a sister. Whether you believe this or not, I knowingly did wrong or do to cause another harm to another in any way, shape, or form to you and Owen. We've got a list of at least 12 things right here. You men are not gods, you are my brothers. If I was actually her brother, then I could punch her, right? Anyhow, I'm very glad you guided Owen after he was thrown out of all the payment methods in social media. You are an excellent and wonderful friend to him. Notice how suddenly it's trying to turn into the talking nice and being manipulative and all that sort of stuff. So, my response to her was, what part of shut up do you not understand? You are out of place and out of line. I don't care if you are in shock. No one does. All that means is that the people in your life needed to tell you to stop talking out of place a long time ago, but failed to do so. Now, for the second time, shut up already. Now the real personality comes out. You are such a gaslighting, mean-spirited narcissist who is unable to answer one question. May you live 1,000 years. Consider dusting off that leather-bound Bible you so sanctimoniously display for once. And the bitch comes out. We knew it was there all along. Of course we did. Now here's the punchline. This was not the only email of this type that I got from someone else. I also got 2 emails from someone who wanted to complain about Milo banning them. This is the kind of stuff we deal with behind the scenes. Okay? This is why we ban these people right away. We simply cannot deal with this. Bart, you're in a timeout. You make that request again, then you're going to get banned. Tony D says, they always use the term gaslight. Did everyone just suddenly learn that word at the same time? Yeah, they did, actually. And so the thing is that what you need to understand is that there are literally thousands of people out there like you in some way, shape, or form. In my case, there are tens of thousands of fans. In Owen's case, there are hundreds of thousands of fans. In some other cases, there are, literally there's literally millions of fans. And so, we simply don't have the time to deal with the nonsense. If we were to spend most of the time addressing this stuff, then we couldn't do the kind of things that you pay attention to us in the first place for. So let me give you a couple guidelines here. First, if you're on the chat and you say something, type something, however you want to put it, that causes me or somebody like me to direct some sort of negative comment, warning, implicit warning, etc. Don't argue with it. Don't try to deny what we said. Don't reject what we said. Even if it's not true, even if we misunderstood, don't try to clarify it for everybody's benefit. Okay, we are going to get things wrong from time to time. Sometimes I inadvertently ban the wrong person because it's hard to click on the correct thing as the chat is moving by. Sometimes I misinterpret something because I don't understand the context of what you said. Sarcasm does not come across in typing. And so when you get a warning, just accept it. I guarantee you it's not personal. It's not directed at you, and it's not something that you should take personally or get upset about. If you try to start correcting, clarifying, arguing, etc., now you're starting to disrupt the discourse. You're disrupting our train of thought. You're disrupting the general conversation, etc. And so, we're probably going to either put you in a timeout or ban you. Also, if you write me an email and I happen to respond to you, that is not an invitation to continue writing to me. It does not mean that I want to start a regular discourse with you. I don't even talk to my friends regularly. And so when you, I understand completely how exciting it is to get a response from somebody that you like, respect, look up to, whatever you want to call it. I was such an Umberto Eco fanboy that when I heard that he was going to be in Minnesota on book tour, I ended up calling his agent, getting permission from the newspaper to do a review for the culture section, setting up the interview with his agent, and then hiring a camera crew to film the whole thing. And it happened to go well enough that Dr. Eco invited me to accompany him to, he realized I was maybe a little bit of a super fan, given that we had this professional camera crew and lighting and everything for this newspaper interview. And he enjoyed the interview enough that he said, "Hey, I'm going to this monastery, and then I'm going to do this event with these professors tonight. Perhaps you'd like to come along and film these things." So of course I was delighted. And my wife, who was pretty much ready to kill me for having spent a ridiculous sum of money on a camera crew, literally months after we had just gotten married and bought a house, forgave me because she liked Dr. Eco a lot too, and I invited her along. So my point is, I understand super fandom, right? I mean, one of the proudest moments of my life was years later, uh, going to an event that he was doing in Milano, and uh, talking to him and asking if I could translate one of his pieces and use it in a work, and he said, absolutely. And then he looked at me strangely and said, "We're speaking Italian. When did you learn Italian? Why do you speak Italian?" Because he remembered me from Minnesota. I mean, of course he did. I was a crazy guy who followed him around for a whole day. But I explained, we'd moved over here and all that sort of thing. So, but that was getting to actually speak Italian with Umberto Eco and being remembered was one of the proudest moments of my life. So I get it. But everything has to remain in its place. I never contacted him after either of those encounters. There's no need to. Because I know that he had millions of fans. And so it's important to respect that the people that you like, the people that you look up to, the people of whom you are a fan, have lives, and you're just one very small part of it. Collectively, you're very important to us. Extremely important. You collectively make everything that we do possible. I understand that and I respect that. I know Owen understands that and respects that. We've talked about it. But it is literally impossible to have significant communication back and forth. Dislike us. And it's not just us. It sounds so wrong coming from Owen. Owen says, "I can confirm, I respect and understand it." Why does that just sound wrong coming from Owen? I don't know. Anyhow, hey, Tom Forsyth, you watch your mouth. Jeff Ritchie said, "I finally subscribed to Unauthorized. I feel like I owe hundreds of dollars in back pay entertainment." Hey, I'm just glad that you think it's worth subscribing to. We're rapidly approaching 6,000 subscribers, and this is fantastic. That's better, Tom. So, anyhow, everybody who is in even the smallest amount of petty limelight attracts people who want to bring them down for one reason or another. In our case, it's often people who are opposed to us ideologically. Fine. But girls who are 17 years old and have a modicum of fame because they happen to be on some third-rate cable television show have more haters than we do. And they haven't done anything except for be a little bit prettier than the average girl on camera. That's it. So it's not like we can whine about this. It's not that we can cry about this. I'm not complaining about this. We know how to deal with it. I'm just explaining to everybody why we do what we do in the hopes that you can understand it. And maybe if you're one of those people who is likely to step into one of those traps inadvertently, then hopefully it'll help you avoid that. I don't want to ban people. I don't want to make people feel bad. I don't want to deny people the inevitable font of wisdom flowing from my mouth. The consequences of letting these sort. Bart, you have been warned for the last time. One more time, and you will be banned. Anyhow, the point is that we opened it up and we just said, you know what? We're not going to moderate. We're not going to. You guys are feeling too repressed and you want to let your freak flag fly. Go for it. And it was kind of hilarious because within 4 hours, the very people who had been complaining about it were begging for us to restore the moderation, everything. And of course, because I have a slight sadistic streak, I let it go for 24 hours. Nobody on the blog has complained about the moderating or locking things down occasionally ever since. Because now everybody understands what the price is. You know, you've seen this in those comment sections where there is no moderation. They become totally unreadable spam and porn links. Can you go back to insulting Jordan Peterson? Who? Oh, you mean Dr. Meth? No, I don't like to kick a meth addict when he's down and in rehab. Macrolens says, for some people, even negative attention is desirable. Yeah. It wasn't an annoying day at all. I just ignored the blog completely all day. Yeah, exactly. You have to tend the garden or it will be overrun with weeds. So, oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Definitely not meth. Definitely not meth. Anyhow, yeah, that still makes me laugh every time. Well, whatever it is, it's not meth. Oh my goodness. Anyhow, I will always appreciate Michaela Peterson for that, if nothing else. It's kind of funny. There's just, for whatever reason, there is no humor that is as funny as inadvertent humor. Okay, unfortunately, Bart has to. He's helped us all by serving as an example. When you tell somebody to stop talking about something, they say, "But what's the matter with what I want to talk about? I just," it's just crazy. Have you been paying attention to address the Groyper War on Charlie Kirk and Conservative Inc.? Okay, if everybody is talking about something, you can pretty much assume that anybody who's on the internet has heard about it. Okay, that's the firstest thing. The second thing is, I don't know who Charlie Kirk is. I don't care. I still don't know what he looks like. It's I'm happy that Nick the Knife is taking apart Conservative Inc. It's great. But, I'm not really aware of what, I have no idea, what Charlie Kirk is, does, and I don't care about him. So, anyhow, it's always funny to me when people will email me or put up an off-topic link on the blog to say, "Did you know?" And then it's a link to the Drudge Report. The answer is yes. If it's on the Drudge Report, everybody knows. Everybody knows what's on the Drudge Report. There's literally no reason to ever bring up or ask somebody about that. If we want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. Yes, I have read Bernard Cromwell's novels. Not all of them. I've read the Sharp novels. I haven't read the Saxon ones or the whatever they are. Yeah, yeah, Dreadbear. This is the wrong channel to make jokes about Charlie Kirk. Again, don't know who he is, don't care, not at all concerned with him. Point on Curve says, man, those Herman Hesse novel short stories are really moving. Great recommendation. You got any more deep insight into esoteric consciousness? Of course I do. Just wait till you get into Murakami, or even better, I'm just spacing on the name. Anyhow, another Japanese novelist. Take Cover says, don't you kind of hate fake conservative grifters? Yeah, I do. And you know what I don't do with people that I hate? Talk about them very much. There's no need to talk about a nobody like Charlie Kirk. At least not for me. Again, I'm glad that Nick is exposing people like that. It's great. But for me, I understand why the Bears and why Owen might beat on Steven Crowder. It's an element of what Owen does and who Owen knows and that sort of thing. But I've literally never seen Steven Crowder's show or listened to his podcast. I might recognize him because I know I've seen him in a couple of Owen's clips, but it's just not relevant to me. Remember, this is not my medium. I'm probably much more familiar with people who write books than with people who make speeches at colleges or do videos or appear on Fox News. I literally have not sat down and watched Fox News. I don't even know how long it's been. I think the last time I actually saw a Fox News show was when Alan Colmes was still doing a show with Sean Hannity. It was called Hannity and Colmes. Oh, 1Q84 is awesome. Yeah, 1Q84 is really good. It's probably a bit heavy to start with. I would start with A Wild Sheep Chase. Owen says, Vox is reading 200-year-old books to figure out how we win. I'm keeping the troops entertained with mass executions. We all have our role to play. We all have our different gifts. And I mean, it's not a surprise to me that a lot more people prefer watching Owen or prefer Owen's style to mine. I mean, he's an entertainer. I'm not, and that's cool. I'm really happy that you know to know Owen and to know that there's somebody who is capable of speaking in rhetoric. It's not one of my gifts, and that's fine. I don't lose any sleep over it. Um, the whole. I mean, and that's what I like about the you know the greater Dread Ilk Bear alliance, as it were. And there's going to be, I think, more and more people joining us. Is that most of the people that are involved, not all of them, but most of them understand that we all have our different roles to play and are content with that. And that's an important element in being successful together, is accepting whatever your role happens to be, and not worrying that, like in my case, I don't get to be the big popular one. That's okay. You know, I mean, it's frankly fine with me. you know, I have um, I have less stamina for people than Owen does, and so I'm more than happy for him to deal with all the attention. Um, Owen says he prefers my style to his. I get a little exhausting sometimes. Yeah, you kind of do. That's all right. Um, do you enjoy Mountain Blade Warband? I like the idea of it better than I like the actual game itself. I played it a little bit. Silent Draco says killing Commandante was intriguing and disturbing. Stopped about halfway through to think deeply on it. I didn't find it disturbing. I mean, I guess I know why you would have. There's a part of it that is a bit disturbing. It's not Murakami's most disturbing though. Um, I thought it was great. I mean, I like that a lot better than the colorless Sukuru Suzuki, or whatever the name of the last one or the previous one was. Um, Killing Commandante, I think, really shows Murakami back at his full strength. Ride or Die Bear says, I've learned that I'm out of my pay grade and not to talk so much. But the thing is that everybody has uh, got a significant role to play. We don't do what we do without our subscribers. We're not going to. We wouldn't be able to be protecting knowledge from the zero historians if people aren't buying the books. And so all of these things matter. You know, um, whether you're the guy who does the $2 super chat, or you pick up a copy of the leatherbound stuff, or you support Owen's tour, or you go to his show. All of these things collectively matter and add up over time. Oh, by the way, speaking of this, and speaking of important roles that people can play, um, if you were ever a PayPal, if you're a PayPal user and you ever donated or paid anything to Owen's PayPal account and you live in California, please email him. So PayPal paid Owen's PayPal account, the one that got deplatformed, and you're a California resident. If those three things fit you and you want to be involved, please email Owen. Owen's going, damn it, Vox, what now? I forgot to talk to him about it. Just trust me, there's a reason for it. Let's do some super chats. And speaking of M. Bolster, he was, as usual, the first, and he did his thing. Thank you. I really need to... You really should tell me what your name is so I can... well, actually, you probably shouldn't, because then, of course, they'll try to deplatform you. Elfin says, I was witness to the latest win in the culture war. TPUSA at OSU got wrecked by based Zoomers and millennials. Sounds like Nick the Knife's crowd. The energy was electrifying. High fives all night and momentum building. Vinceremo. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Delighted to hear it. Keen-Eyed Joe said, I have 3-month-old twin boys. Congratulations. Double crushing. They've taught me exactly why the left rails against the family and stay-at-home mums. Children are amazing and life-changing. They are indeed. Get a good woman, get married, get children. Absolutely. Jack Cool said, I asked the Lego fandom question a couple months back. If you were me, would you allow any lefties, progs in and only ban upon bad behavior? I would allow liberals in, but if you get any of the open, active SJW types, just keep them out. It's not worth the trouble. You're going to have to kick them out anyhow. And they will be, trying to subvert you from the get-go. That's all they do. So, if you're dealing with the blue hairs, the activists, I don't know if I'm a boy or a girl, or preferred pronouns, where happen overnight, it can take a while. It can take up to, in my experience, it can take up to a year, or it can be done in as little as 16 hours. But that's what we're doing. So see, if Owen would have just said, we're crushing, and everyone would go, yeah, and been enthusiastic. But hey, if you're here you're here for the dialectic, let's face it. DA said, enjoying Destined for War, thanks for the tip. Would recommend Poorly Made in China for a funny myopic view of would be the new Chinese. Also became a father. Your streams on fatherhood, MGTO, men going their own way, are spot on. Well, first of all, congratulations. And yeah, I'm familiar with a couple of those Chinese documentaries. The one on Africa is the funniest one. DA says, also on topic, looking forward to people getting a thicker skin due to hard times. Enjoy a box of wine on me. Oh, I will. And it will be a box. M. Fisher says, the Missionaries audiobook was great, extremely funny, and the narrator did a really awesome job. Yeah, she's hilarious. Greetings from Germany, and Gott schütze dich. Yeah, if you haven't heard the Missionaries audiobook yet, even if you've read it, you really need to hear it. Gabby is hilarious, and some of the accents that she does are great, especially when she's doing the protagonist laughing. It makes me laugh every time I hear it. Oyster Bear says, keep separating the wheat from the chaff, Godspeed. That's what we do. Karen took the kids is perspicacious. Off topic, but Bob Allen did an extraordinary job on the SJW audiobooks. Is he doing corporate cancer? Yes, he is. And if you want a very inexpensive audiobook, back Castalia on Patreon. The link is under the video. The November audiobook is going to be Corporate Cancer. $3, and that will be sent out to all the what is it? Not heroes of the resistance leaders. All resistance leaders and all heroes of the revolution will get the ebook, or they'll all get the ebook and they'll get the audiobook. No Ball Bear says, Vox, your opinion on the use of the word irregardless. I find it mildly annoying. The correct word is regardless. Sam Prochansky says, this reminds me of another reason football is important. As Richard Sherman said, you learn to take criticism really well as a teenager once you miss a block and get cursed out by several coaches and your teammates. Yeah, it's true. I still get criticized all the time, and most of the time I just accept it. Every now and then I'll snap back, especially if the person who is criticizing me is the person who actually made the mistake. But in general, I just agree and say, you're right. And I try to apply the criticism next time. Sports are very, very, I mean, there's a reason why they used to say that that Waterloo was won on the fields of Eton. The sports, especially in youth, are very formative for boys. Outdoor Enthusiastic says, for the good fight, thank you. Bear Zerker sends in $2. Mr. Cooper Bear says, I just avoid the chat because I know I would be disruptive sometimes. Your rules are clear and I don't want to break them. I appreciate that. It's actually really simple not to get banned. It is. I mean, we're not like hunting for people. We just want people to not disrupt things. That's all. Is she-face effective rhetoric for transsexuals? Jack says, how do we know if God gives us a revelation? Well, if the consequences prove out, that's a pretty good sign, but we never know for sure. Now we see as though through a glass darkly. Now the question's not out there. Remember, don't play prophet unless you are absolutely 100% certain, because the Bible is very, very strict and strong on those who are false prophets. Defiance Bear said, in politics, aside from the obvious alphas and gammas, are there any social-sexual hierarchy patterns one can expect to be helpful or usually harmful in a candidate? I've literally never thought about that before, so I'll have to think about that. I'm sorry, I don't want to give you a pat and incorrect answer. Jeff Ritchie says, down payment on back pay. Keep crushing. I'll send the rest to Owen via USPS. Thanks, Jeff, but you don't owe us anything. We do this because we want to and because we think it's the right thing to do. I very much appreciate the support, but it's not a question of owing. It's a question of choice. Watcher Bear says, God bless you, sir. Thank you. And Magister Ludai said, Vox never sleeps, plays soccer with young guys. How? Well, it's all the SJW blood. Keeps your skin supple, and gives you plenty of energy. It's actually pretty late here right now, but it's all good. I also drink a lot of coffee. Christopher McCullough said, is the Book of Enoch legitimate? It appears to be. Again, we can't be certain, but there it is. So, all right. And on that note, I think I actually should call it an evening, since we're getting it's getting quite late here. No, finishing Sea of Skulls is not on the back burners. It's just something that I do when I have the time. I mean, it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I like doing. I write Arts of Dark and Light mostly for me. I mean, it's nice that um, it's nice that people enjoy it. You know, I don't know if you're aware, but Amazon, you know, was dinging with the saying algorithm blessed it, and I think I was up to like the 30 best selling science fiction author, and the A Throne of Bones audiobook went up to like number 70 or 60 on all of Audible. Yeah. Thank the algorithm, I guess. And Aurelius Ziola sent in 50 from Canada. Thank you. So, and on that note, thanks very much. If you haven't joined up yet, you might want to take a look at the Patreon thing. And otherwise, we'll look forward to seeing you soon, probably tomorrow night. I'm Vox Day, and this is the Darkstream.